have to watch a clock. I don't even have to watch a clock. I don't even have to watch a clock.
Hello, welcome to the Bold Moves podcast. I am the host, Mandy Bryce, and this is episode number 213. I am super excited to share with you just some great energy for your Monday morning if you're someone who listens to them right away. I chatted with Jacqueline Pirtle, who is the author of 365 Days of Happiness. So if you could use some happy this Monday morning, she can help you with that and just different ways to reframe happiness and, like I said, a really refreshing energy. If you'd like to hear how you can get a free copy of the book, stay tuned until the end. As always, I really hope you enjoy the show, and without further ado, here is my chat with Jacqueline. Hello, everyone. I am with Jacqueline Pirtle, who I think you're going to immediately fall in love with her bubbly personality. Welcome to the show, Jacqueline.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy. I guess it's two bubbles in the show, right? Because you're bubbly too.
This is going to give some Monday burst of motivation and energy, I think, that a lot of people need on a Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So you know that the show is called Bold Moves, and you wouldn't be on here if you hadn't made some. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your story and then some of the risks that you've taken that have made you kind of into a bold mover?
Sure. With Bold Moves, what I really love about your title for your podcast is really that, to me, all my bold moves come really straight from my heart, right? So it's almost like a universal kind of push. Jacqueline, do this, right? And sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? It's like you're sitting there like, okay, but I've just learned to just listen and take that move, and then it's always just been really, really amazing. So I guess the biggest bold move was when I met my husband, because he's American and I'm from Switzerland. So, and that was absolutely a bold move to go into that relationship knowing that one of us will have to move, and after lots of consideration we made the bold move that I moved to America. So that's my first really big bold move. Now, before that, I made bold moves like to go live for a year in the States and work and go to school. And I made bold moves with my education when my heart just said, it's not for you, Jacqueline. You're not happy that way. And it wasn't that I was ungrateful. It was just more that I just tried. And I just realized in my heart, it's just not my truth, right? And then I just made bold moves. You said, that's it. I'm going to quit, which is not really quitting. It's just with gratitude shifting to a new, and then all these other doors open up for me. So I've always kind of been like that. Yeah. And, right when people think, oh, there she is. Jacqueline, she found her spot and she's comfortable. She's putting down roots. That's where my next bold move comes. So it really is. So, and then I moved to America to be with my husband, and where we, got married, and just wonderful. And I'm really supposed to be here. It's a wonderful country, and I love Switzerland too. It's just, for me personally, it just really fits here. And of course, bold moves with having children, right? Yeah. That's like amazing. 2 kids, and a bold move with adopting rescue cats that just nobody wanted, right? And it just always turns out they're, my spirit travelers in my journey. And the latest bold move, which was really bold for me, was that I wrote my book, 365 Days of Happiness. And the reason why it's so bold is, originally I'm an energy healer and a life coach, mindfulness, happiness coach. And I've been doing this since a long time, even when I was little. And where back in time, I didn't really understand that. Nobody could explain it to me, but people feel better when I said something to them, touched them, or explained the situation to them. But anyway, so that's what I've been doing professionally since 2006. And then in 2017, New Year's Eve, I just had this other heart guidance, you're going to sit down every day and devote every day of 2017 to write about happiness. What is it? What is it for you? What is it for the world? What does it mean? What do you need to focus on and practice on? And that's what I did in 2017. I put it out as a blog and realized it helps so many people. And it was just amazing. And then at some point I had the bold move, the bold heart push move. This is going to be a book. And, it's a book that's not in my mother language, and I've never written a book before. I've never even thought that I would be ever an author, which is a best-selling author at this point. And that absolutely was a bold move. And what a move. I mean, it's like, I'm in love with this book. I'm in love with this journey where it brought me to. So we'll see. And we also, as a family, we do a lot of bold moves with moving, right? If there is a move because of school, because of a job, or when these opportunities fly in our presence, we just look at each other and we're like, okay, everybody in? Yep. So then let's go. And we just pick up and go and do it. And it's been amazing. It's what came our way. So we actually just did another bold move and picked up and moved for where we're going to stay for the next couple years for school and whatnot. And we're so happy we did it because we love it here. So so that's it in short. So I think every day is this bold movement going on, actually in our whole family. Our kids are like that too. So
that's awesome. That doesn't surprise me, because I feel like I have yet to interview someone, and I think this is a little over my 100th interview, that has just done one bold move, and then the rest of the time they lay low and don't do much. Normally people who are making bold moves make a lot of them, or it's a series of them that are maybe connected or even not. So that doesn't surprise me. Where in the United States are you right now?
Now I'm in Maryland.
Okay.
Right outside of DC. Yeah.
Okay.
And so congratulations to all your shows. That's wonderful. And for whoever can see this video right now, there's actually this sun ray coming in.
I just saw that. I'm like, should I?
It's like, it's amazing. It's blessing you. It's like very angelic. I love it.
Angelic. And I'm like, what is happening? Do I need to move it? But I'm like, I'm gonna keep it.
No, it's a bold move to stay in that angelic light right there and be blessed. All right. Wonderful. So
there we go. I'll keep it. I almost have a halo.
I love it. You deserve it. So
thank you.
To the whole thing about making one bold move, to me, what it really is like, I call it my high for life frequency, where it's just, you're just so over the moon happy. And you know what? Your circumstances could be not so happy when you look at it, maybe not how you want it, or maybe other people look at it like, really? But it doesn't matter about the circumstance. It's just, you just made this bold move, and it's just this high for life frequency where and high for life just way of being, right? Where you just could hug the whole world because you made that bold move, and it's just fits so much. It fills every single cell of your being. That happens to me, and that feeling is addictive, and it's such a good feeling where health can be a success, abundance can come, life just goes right for you no matter your circumstances. And that means, to me, this is why we're here. This is why we're in this physical life, to experience exactly that, which means if I do more bold moves, that means I am more me. I am more my happiness, because I am happiness, Right. So I want to experience it and go out there and live it and be more me, which makes the whole world a better place, because we're all energy connected and sharing our energy. So it's just this amazing honorary and celebratory feeling for me, and wanting for me, and then sharing it with a whole world out there. I just love that.
I love it too. And I have to say that I am not surprised, listening to you talk for like 5 minutes, that you have written a book about happiness, because your energy is so contagious. You talked a little bit about why we're all on this earth. So I feel like you may have an answer to this, but I always give a disclaimer because it can be such a really big and profound question for people. But I'm wondering if you know your purpose, or your current purpose, because I know that can change for people. And then if so, what that is for you.
Sure. To be really honest, my only biggest and most important purpose for me to be here is to just be.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds maybe like, oh, really? So my purpose was to be, and then write this book. You know,
Yeah.
this book was, these words of this book were floated in me, through me, right? It's like sometimes I read this book and believe, I wrote this, really? Really? And it's because I was open enough to just be.
Yeah.
To just be and just let it flow through me, and then create this amazing book. So it's like a translator. My purpose is to be the best me I can be, the best good feeling, the best happiest me I can be. And that is really just to be, right? To realize my breath is happiness. My purpose is to breathe so I can experience this wonderful physical life, and then go out there and share it with everyone, and this goodness. And that's my purpose. And I always say to my clients, and I actually even have a passage in the book, I forgot which page is it, but in the book where it says, forget about your purpose. Don't search for your purpose, because when you search, you forget to just be. Just be. Right now you're angry, that's your purpose right now. So just be angry and feel that and live it. Go clean your house, do something real forceful with that amazing powerful energy, and you don't hurt anybody, don't let it out. You know, but
within the confines of the law, and
go clean something or whatnot, and then, oh my gosh, it feels so good. You know, if you're sad right now, that's your purpose. Feel that sadness, go through it, and just realize that cleansing that's going on when you have a good cry, for instance, right? Or when you want that chocolate, that's your purpose right then. Just be and eat that chocolate and indulge it, and close your eyes and just like, I mean, like, just feel that chocolate in you, what it does to you. And no matter what it is for me right now, my purpose is to speak to you. It's not to think already, what is my purpose in the grand thing, right? If I would have thought, what is my purpose in the grand thing, I would never have thought I'm going to be an author. Right. But my purpose is to just be here right now. And things will just come, and then it's amazing. So that's my purpose.
I love that. And it's so interesting to ask, because that's one question that I ask everyone. And you get such a range from a very broad answer like yours that, you know, you're always doing that. Hopefully, I know we can get in our head and then we're not just being, we're overthinking, but then to very specific things. And then I think it's easy to get caught up in that idea. Like how you said in your book, you said, stop searching for your purpose and just be. And I think that like what you said kind of reminded me of The Power of Intention with Wayne Dyer. How he's just like, I just want to feel good. And like, if you feel good, like that's the best thing that you can do for other people. And that's how you're going to attract what you need. And it's just refreshing to hear it and like get your energy, you know, this morning is contagious. So I'm loving it.
Thank you so much. And I mean, you know, it works too. It's like, I'm not just saying this, right? It really works. I test my book, my words, the way I live, how I work with my clients every single split second, because I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a kitty mom. I have dirty cars, I have a dirty house, I have laundry to wash. So I test this every single split second in my life, and it really, really works. And everybody can shift to kind of like to being like that and living like that. And it's really wonderful. So, and just to say, I mean, you're saying it's contagious to talk to me or my energy, but I tell you what, we're co-creating right now. So I tell you, without you and those beautiful sun rays coming in you, I would not be able to co-create this with you. It's an exchange. So thank you. You're inspiring very much so too.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm curious, you mentioned how sometimes when you've made the bold moves in the past, you've known that that's not made sense, but you're like, all right, this is what I'm feeling called to do. We're going to do it. I'm wondering if there's ever a time where those bold moves have actually felt scary to you, and what is maybe the scariest thing you've ever pushed yourself through?
Well, yeah, I mean, when the bold moves don't make sense, it can get a little scared. But you know what? When I'm scared, I realize, wait a minute, why am I scared? It's first of all, I don't live through who I am right now, which is an adult woman. It's like, so even when I met my husband and he's from so far away, and not everybody around me in Switzerland was like, yeah, sure, go, right? So people are like, are you crazy? What if it doesn't work? So, but it really all boils down to them. If I'm scared, I'm obviously not living right now as me. I'm not being in my now right now, because as my now, I know I love the man. Of course I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
What am I feeling? What are they talking about? That's one thing. And then shift myself back to trusting and to saying, today, right now, I trust, right? Because I feel that way. So that I don't give in to that being scared, really, because why would I, right? Why would I? It's not even my truth right now. So because I live through, let's say, maybe through my inner child or through others, for instance, right? And then I immediately shift to trust, right? Because if you're scared, you're not trusting. I trust to be supported and carried by life. And I trust in my inner soul knowing, right? In my heart, absolutely knowing. So, and then instead of giving into that being scared, I shift myself to right now, and then I work on my trust, which is amazing. It's a gift. That being scared is an amazing gift, because it says, hey, Jacqueline, where's your trust? And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I get to work on my trust to make it even more solid, more strong. So it really is, if the bold move comes from your heart, being scared, the balance to it will be to work on my trust. And that's what I do.
That's amazing. So it sounds like you are really good at something that I hear the most successful people talk about, is that whenever they have an obstacle, they're able to reframe it as an opportunity. So for you, you're saying when you feel fear, use it as an opportunity to work on your trust. If you were talking to a client, how would you recommend they push past fear, especially if they haven't necessarily built trust or seen the evidence that you're saying, like you test every split second that you know it works? What advice would you give to someone who is about to do something scary?
Yeah. First of all, I would tell them to have a session with me. So we can work on it, and I can help shift some energies around and explain the situation better. And we can go a little deeper. And not all of my work I always share with my clients. A lot of information that comes through me, I just work and do my thing. But also it helps to educate the client and explain the situation. Where is this coming from, right? Where is this coming from? And where can we shift something down there in that other situation that it's actually coming from, and it's not even your real you right now. And then of course I also tell them then to pick up my book and start practicing every day a passage, because this is about trust. It is about thinking of you and celebrating you and going for your heart and whatnot, and learning to be more connected to your whole being, body, mind, soul, and consciousness. So that's what I would start out with. Now, just as a kind of like as a short version, I would go out there on that day, wherever you're at, and all day long, make it an absolute utmost important thing to focus on all trust out there and in you and on you. So let's start with in you. You feeling your heartbeat, just there, going for you and beating for you. That's called trust, if you ask me. So focus on that heartbeat and feel the trust, right? The trust of the universe, of your body, of you in your heart, right? We're not really consciously realizing that, but just the fact of realizing it shifts your whole being and every single cell of your body, mind, soul, and consciousness to the high frequency of trust.
Right.
So then you go on, you walk down the street. Well, the trust is all sitting in your legs and your feet to carry you, right?
Yeah.
The trust in your mind to constantly thinking and constantly going. And then so that's inside of you. There's so much trust that you can actually feel. And once you feel it, you shift yourself automatically to the frequency of trust. You just filled yourself. Then you look outside of you, right? You look at your eyes, you look at your mouth, you look at your ears. There's a lot of trust that it's all right there, right? Yeah. And then you go outside and walk down the street and you hear a bird. Well, there's a lot of trust in that bird. You're just sitting there and singing for you, no? Yeah. Then you hop in your car. There's a lot of trust. The car running. There's a lot of trust when you go to the gas station that there's gas there. So you actually, anybody that says my trust is just not so big, or I don't know how to trust, actually you really are a professional truster already. Sure. Because you drive up to the gas station and pump gas. You trusted that gas station has gas there right for you. Well, just shift to that trust and focus on it. Become aware of all the trust that you actually already practice, that's in you, on you, and outside of you. And there is no other way than for you to just energetically shift to the frequency of trust, and then just sit there, breathe, and feel this for a moment. And then, of course, you use the word, I trust. I trust. When you go to the fridge, I trust that there is milk. I trust that my children are in their rooms, right? Everybody at night is home. Go to the children's room and say, I trust that my child is in that room. I trust that my car is in my garage. So using the word trust too, when you speak it and think it, energetically shifts you to trust you. So just focus on trust anywhere and everywhere at all times. And within like an hour, you're gonna go like, whoa, wait a minute, that's a lot of trust. And then that means you make trust bigger than being scared, and you shift to that frequency, and it's a high frequency when you trust.
That makes sense. I feel like what you're describing as trust is something that we could easily take for granted as things we just feel like we know. Or so that's an interesting way to frame it. And I like how you could use that to build your confidence up to handle whatever it is you might be feeling fear about.
Yeah, think about when you practice this for 1 week and then you go back to what you were scared about. You're probably not going to be scared about it anymore, because you say, I trust. And it's like a trigger word too, right? Yeah. It's like all you need to, you program yourself, and your energetic being is so much in the frequency of trust that every time you say trust, it triggers. It's like birthday cake, smile, birthday cake, smile, trust. Wow, I'm going to go for it, right? And I mean, I'm talking about being scared, even though you want to do the bold move, but it's in your heart, that bold move, right? Now, if the bold move does not come from your heart, it's not the right thing then to say, I'm scared, I work on my trust. You can work on your trust, but go back again and say, so is this still a bold move that's coming from my heart? And if it is, go for it. Keep working on your trust and go for it. If it's not, then say, okay, I'm open for the next thing, right? To move on and shift, right? So
I love that. One of the things that you mentioned in your advice was to go back to the book and practice the passages. I'm curious a little bit about the format of your book, because from the title of it, 365 Days of Happiness, I would have thought that maybe it was something to do each day for 365 days. I don't know if that's correct or not, but it also seems like it's a journal of yours of just reflecting on happiness for a year. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it actually is, like if either of my guesses are correct, and then also how someone could enjoy it or utilize it for themselves?
Sure, gladly. Yes, it is a day-by-day guide to shifting, to being and living your happiness, because I believe that you are happiness and happiness is you, and you two are never separate, never. Yeah,
Okay.
your breath is happiness, your blood pumping through your body is happiness, your beautiful eyes are happiness. And then of course it's also on the outside of you. The bird singing for you is happiness, right? And a piece of chocolate is happiness. And so talking to you is happiness. So there are different steps, but it starts in the inside of you. And the book is really has little passages every single day. And they're very lighthearted and very to use in everyday life, but they're very deep from an energetic perspective. So they shift you constantly to your high for life frequency. Best is if you use this book next to your bed, you open your eyes. First thing you do is you take the book and read that passage. You close your eyes a couple minutes and just think about what's coming up for you. And then off you go into your new day, because you're going to set the tone right for your new day. And then you can reflect on it a little bit during the day. It's like, and it's a 3-minute read. It's really, 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 really sweet and short. And that's the way to use it. And the goal is, or the hopes for me, is for you to shift yourself constantly, every single day, more into being and living your happiness, which means you're shifting more to being and living you, you know, and to do that. And the passages is, you can call it a journal of my 2017 daily thoughts and life, but what it really is, it's a channeling of universal information that's been given to me, and it's not necessarily it's not necessarily written for me. So even though every day I wrote about happiness, it's not like you pick up this book and then you learn for 1 year who I am. Right. It's like my heart is in it, my thoughts are in it, my energy work is in it. But this book is not a personal book that tells about my story. It is a book that day to day teaches you how to be and live more in your high for life frequency.
I love that. It's so funny because I haven't even discussed this part of the podcast with you, but every week I have the guest from Monday give a challenge for the listeners or viewers. And then I have that as a separate episode on Friday. And so the week that we're recording this, the challenge hasn't come out yet. It'll come out tomorrow. But this week's guest challenge was to start every day for 1 week with 5 minutes of reading something positive of your choice, because it's so common, I think, now in 2018 to wake up, grab your phone and just start responding to things, you know, like you go to your email, you go to social media, and like those things can obviously dictate your day. If you follow a whole bunch of positive people, that can be a positive source coming from, but you could also wake up and like see that you have a bill due, or wake up and somebody's complaining about something at work, or you're getting some sort of negative inputs. And so his challenge that comes out tomorrow as of this recording is to start the day with 5 minutes of some sort of positivity. And I'm like, oh, if this would have been first, then we could have recommended your book.
That's all right.
Maybe I'll sneak it in the link into the show notes anyway of that.
Thank
episode.
you. Awesome. Thank you.
But yeah, it sounds like a great practice that a lot of us could really benefit from, and, you know, really sort of taking charge of what foot we start our day on, and making sure that it's, you know, being happy, as you've mentioned.
Yeah, and just to do it on a mindful level. So it's like, because to me, happiness does not have to be always smiling, dancing, and, you know, having enough money and a clean house and sparkling and whatnot. No, it's happiness can be when you're angry. It can be when you're sad. Nothing has to change for you. Nothing has to change for you. Even if you're not healthy right now, nothing has to change for you in order to shift to being and living your happiness right now. And that's what this book is about. You don't have to go buy anything. You don't have to go change anything, nothing. You get to, it's like a journey to get to know your soul better, and also to learn a little bit about, you know, your energetic being, because for me, it all starts and ends with energy. It all does. So this book, I have this,
Perfect. Oh, it's
this.
cute. I love the cover.
Oh, I'm in love with this book. It's like, I absolutely love the book. So it's like, I just really love it. And so it's really to just, it's like a journey to get to know yourself better and to get to understand that you're so much more than the physical body, and that you're in charge and you control, that you can experience whatever you want to experience, no matter the circumstances. And that's what this beauty of this book is really. And that's why it's so in my heart, right? My heart is in it, my thoughts in it, and it's based on my work. And I just want to shout out, without a lot of wonderful supporters, be it the book designer, be it the photographer, be it my family and editors and whatnot, I could never ever have done it anyway. So it's an energetic combination of getting this really out there, and that's why it's so powerful.
I love that. Now, when you were talking, you were saying that you can always be your happiness, whether you're angry, unhealthy, whatever. And that sounds a little bit contradictory to me. So can you elaborate a little bit more on how you can be angry and be in your happiness at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I mentioned a little bit before, so let's say you're angry, right? It's if you feel your anger without letting it out on anybody else, if you feel your anger and say, "Ooh, I'm angry," that's a powerful energy. First of all, you realize that you're actually a very powerful being. So clients that come to me and say, "Yeah, I'm just not so powerful." I'm like, "Wait a minute, do you know how to get angry?" "Yeah, of course." Well, that's a really powerful energy right there. Why don't you focus on that a little bit and really feel it? And really just realize it, acknowledge it. I'm angry. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful, right? That by itself could be happiness, because you just realize that you're a powerful being. Hey, that to me is happiness. And then so you're going to go out there and you're going to react and you're going to shift and experience the whole day differently, because you just realized you are a powerful being. That's amazing. And then if you're angry and then you go clean your house in that powerful, forceful energy, for instance, well, afterwards, first of all, this movement of cleaning or cleaning a car or mowing the lawn is amazing exercise. So that's happiness right there. It's great for your whole being. And then when the house is clean or the lawn is nice and beautiful and you stand, you're like, wow, that is just amazing. It feels so good. Well, that's happiness too. And that's why I'm saying it. The trick is, so let's say you're angry and it feels great. Sometimes being angry feels really good, right? If you give kids a soft cushion to punch, that feels so good when they're angry. That's called happiness, because it feels good. But there is a moment when suddenly you're angry, you're feeling good, and suddenly you don't feel so good about it anymore. We all have that. That's the moment to capture and say, hey, wait a minute, being angry was great before, but it's not feeling good anymore. What can I shift myself to feel better? Then maybe go out there and walk, maybe go, I don't know, hug somebody, maybe have a piece of chocolate, whatever. Meditate, do yoga or something, whatever fits your soul. It's the same with sad. It feels good. You have a good cry. It's cleansing. Wow. Then it doesn't feel so good anymore. And that's that moment in every feeling where you can say, I'm going to shift to something better. Think about when you go out dancing, for instance, and you're all happy, hi-ho. Oh my gosh. Well, there's a moment, thankfully, at some point where it doesn't feel so good anymore because you get tired or you're like, you need to go home and be quiet. Well, what do? You say, I'm tired now. I'm going to go quiet down now. And it's the same with anger. It's just with that, we may need to come put a little bit more effort into grabbing that moment and saying, that doesn't feel so good anymore. And the other thing is to not beat yourself up over being angry. Or sad or jealous, right? It doesn't matter. Those are all feelings that make you. So the best is to acknowledge them, then accept, respect, appreciate, thank, and love them, because it's part of you, and then shift from there. Very important.
I like that. Now, I understand how sometimes it does feel good to be sad and it's cleansing to have a cry. And I can definitely agree with you that there is power in feeling anger and releasing that anger, whether you said like cleaning or however you're going to legally release your anger. But I'm curious, where do you find the happiness and sadness? Because that one seems for me a little harder to find, I guess, the silver lining of, because that doesn't feel as powerful to me. So what is the hook on sadness that you can, I guess, turn into being in your happiness at the same time?
Right. The reason why it doesn't feel so powerful is because sits straight in the heart. You
Yeah.
know, the anger is this forceful, right? So yeah, it
Yeah.
is powerful. But sadness sits straight in your heart. When you're sad, it's to really acknowledge. It's always the first step. You say, I am sad, without judgment. Stop right
Yeah.
there. I am sad. You know,
Sure.
and then to accept, respect, appreciate, thank, and love the sadness for what it is, which is your heart speaking to you and saying, hey, I'm running a little low.
Yeah.
I'm running a little low. So what can I do to nourish myself, you know? And then, you know, is it a meditation? Is it a bath? Is it to just a good cry? Is it to go out there and to spend time with hugging a tree, for instance, or anything that really nourishes? Sadness really is your heart tank saying, I'm running a little low. And it's a very beautiful language of your heart saying, hey, can you take care of me, please? And that on itself is so beautiful to me. When my body speaks to me, even a headache, right? It's so beautiful because it's the headache saying, hey, Jacqueline, you're messing up. You're really messing up. Well, thank you so much for telling me, because without you, I would just keep going, right? And that's not a good thing to do, because we all kind of sometimes forget, you know, with the busyness of day by day a little bit. So to me, sadness is very, very sweet, gentle, soft. But it's also because I shifted my thought about sadness to saying that's actually lives in my heart. So why would I not be happy from something that comes from my heart? That's so loving. It's so sweet and loving, right? And sometimes, or a lot of times, the sadness actually comes from your inner child. It's not even sadness that comes right now, right? So if you would shift yourself, or if you would step outside of yourself as who you are right now, and then you look from that perspective at your sadness, you're like, why am I sad? I'm gonna go talk with the birds. I'm gonna go make a good meal, or go drink some water, or make myself a good tea, and it's all right. I will get there. It's fine. When you then step out and you go into your inner child, and look at sadness from there, you're gonna cry really hard, and it really is hurtful. When you do that practice, you immediately know where you stand. Where is my sadness sitting? Well, if it's, and depending on from where it is, the sadness is coming from, you can then deal a little bit different with it, right? And then of course there is also, like, you know, from a physical perspective, like things like, you know, chemical imbalances, and from a physical perspective, that can happen too. But even there, to me, it all starts and stops at the energetic level. The important part will be then in that way to figure out where exactly this is originating, and that's what my work is and what I do. So
I love that. And I'm so glad that you addressed the chemical imbalances, because I think that with different mental illness or anything related to that, sometimes it can be harder, just because, like, for example, me, I suffer from anxiety and depression, and not in an extreme way, but there are definitely times, especially related to my cycle, where I'll be like, okay, I know that I don't identify any reasons I have to feel this way, other than my body is making me react, or my body is just saying, like, okay, you're gonna feel really sad for some reason. And I'm like, I can't figure out why, but my body is telling me that. And I imagine that with other people that can be even more extreme. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Taking a gentle approach to that, I think, is
Oh,
really
absolutely. Very gentle, because
wonderful.
you don't, it's a heart energy. It's something that originates from the heart. You don't want to go, stomp in there. You
Right.
want to be very gentle, very cozy, very nourishing, and very loving. But I really like so if you're sad, step out and look from who you are right now, then look from the child perspective of you. Your inner child, we all have our inner child, and then kind of look from where it's coming from. And if it's from a chemical imbalance, even that, to me, it starts at an energetic level. So where would that be? Then maybe what you could do is replace the sadness, where you step out of yourself and look at sadness, replace the sadness with the chemical imbalance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so say, okay, chemical imbalance, I step outside to who I am right now, look at that chemical imbalance like a good old friend. Look at that friend, right? And say, so what is my initiation as me now? And then step outside of you and look at it from a small child perspective, your child perspective, and see where it comes. And usually, normally, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Something is there energetically. Sure, it's like an experience in life that passed when you were a child, maybe a trauma, maybe this, maybe that, maybe a loss, maybe something little that, it's just had that effect for you, right? And really look at it. But that experience is energy too. Everything is energy. We're energy, you and I, the computer, my thoughts, my words, your thoughts, your words. Every experience in your life is just an energy, right? So when you go back as a child and say, my chemical imbalance originates actually from that experience, from that energy past in my life, and then you can heal that. Then you can fall in love with it, go dancing with it and say, wow, this is part of who I am today, right? I mean, everything that happened to me, go back, it's like I just had a really big birthday, so go back, way back, everything that happened to me. And I tell you what, I'm not a sharer or an oversharer of what happened to me, but we all have our backpacks. We all do. And I have a full backpack, I can tell you that much. But this book and the work I do today, without my backpack, well, where would my wisdom be? Where would my openness be? Where would my feelings be? How would I know what people would need, right? Which means I shifted to making best friends with my backpack. I take my backpack dancing all the time. I have a good old time, and sometimes a good old cry, and that's okay. But who I am today is because of my backpack, which is my backbone. And that's what I'm talking about. So energetically speaking, your experience that you had back in time that originates this chemical imbalance, for instance, or anything really, is just an energy. It's an experience that's an energy, just like everything else. And today is not even really true anymore. You have that memory that it happened, but energetically speaking, you can clean it out. You can make best friends of it. You can neutralize it, because every split second in life is different anyway. So you and I speaking right now, well, in the next split second, it's not even real anymore. It's past.
Sure.
So if you stay in your now, it's all these beautiful experiences that are building blocks for who you are, the unique you, who you are today, which, man, that's great, right? I mean, the world needs that, right?
Absolutely. So I'm curious if people are listening to this, and of course the book will be in the show notes, but if they want to work with you, if they want to just have doses of your amazing energy on social media or online, where all can you be found online?
Sure. I have a website. It's called freakyhealer.com. Yes. And I'm everywhere on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, under that name, Freaky Healer. And my book is also on Amazon and Kindle and paperback. I think you should get the paperback if you get it, because it's really a book to hug. It's like, that's what
Okay.
most people do. When I hand them the book, they hug it. It's amazing. So
Aw.
yeah, so that would probably be, I think I would prefer that. And
Okay.
but yeah, you can find me and you'll find me. So, and you'll find me.
I love it. I trust that you'll find me. We'll put it all in the show notes so that it's there too.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So of course we want to hug your book, and that's a great one for everyone to read. But do you have any other book recommendations that maybe have impacted you and you want to share, or just that you, even if it's just for fun to read, anything for leisure or any general book recommendations?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm like I say, I'm all about metaphysics and energy and whatnot. So, and I do leisure reading too, but to me that is kind of leisure reading. So, anything that you can get your hands on from Bruce Lipton is just amazing. His humor is amazing, and his understanding of the biology of belief, believe how it changes and all that, is just amazing. The guy is just really fun. And anything from Greg Braden, I like it too, because he's very deep and very thoughtful. And then of course our good Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, and she's always really positive. So these three authors and beings and just magicians are amazing people.
Okay, perfect. So anything by any of those authors you recommend? Cool.
Yep.
And then the first one, did you say Bruce Lipton? Was that his name?
Yes, Bruce Lipton. Yeah.
Is he the one who wrote The Biology of Belief? Because I've heard of that book, but I haven't read it. Okay, cool.
He's an incredible person. So
awesome. Well, we'll definitely have the links to those in the show notes also.
Awesome. Great. And then will you put the link in for the free gift?
Absolutely.
In the show notes?
Yes, that will be there too. Yes.
Awesome.
And it's so generous of you to offer. So thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. It's my honor. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So I want to ask you a couple more questions. One is, you've obviously given so much every time I've asked you a question, even if it's about your own story. I feel like you've shared something that could be really helpful and valuable to people. I'm wondering if you have any other advice that you would like to give. Maybe it's a lesson you recently learned or something that you just feel called to share, as you kind of did when you wrote your book.
Yeah, of course. The most important thing I always want to tell to people, like I scream into the world, is you are deserving. It's your birthright to be and live your happiness. With being here, that's it. There's no other way than you feeling good, you choosing to feel good, you wanting to feel good, because that means you're wanting to be more you. So you are deserving. It's your birthright. There's nothing selfish about it. It's actually the contrary. You are making yourself happy and going out there and being just the happiest you can be. That means you share it with everybody, right? And everything. You make the world a better place. So absolutely deserving. And the other thing I'd like to say is just have a good look at your soul being, right? You're a body, you're a mind, your soul, and your consciousness, which is your now. That's where your power lays, So, but have a good look at your soul. How big is your soul being?
Yeah.
How big and wide is it? Because a lot of times it's really tiny. It's a kind of shrunk, and everything, and it's very malnourished, So have a look at your soul. How does it feel? Is it up and down, jumping, happy, good feeling? Or is it the other? And then just nourish it. And the way you nourish your soul is with everything that touches your heart, because your soul lives in your heart. That's your heart being. So anything, is it hugging somebody and you go, ooh, this just feels so good? Or petting your furry, friend, and just like, wow, it's so soft. Listening to touching music, watching a sunset, anything. So implement many times a day. Set a daily alarm 3 times a day to say, it's my soul nourishing alarm or something. And then just do something that really touches you. And it's different for anyone. And that nourishes your soul. Because what I realized is that when you have, and this is maybe a little bit on the on the weird side, but it came to me and it works like magic. When you have weight in your physical body that you don't know, it's just kind of you're gaining weight, you can't explain it, you're exercising, you're eating healthy, you're sleeping good, and you can't explain it, or you're trying to lose weight with all the right methods, whatnot. And I'm not one for dieting. I'm just, because food to me is energy and everything. So but when you do all the right things for you, but you're not losing the weight, and I came up with a client, and she allowed me to share it. It came down to how big is her soul.
Yeah.
Because when the soul is small and malnourished, the physical body tends to want to be bigger because you don't want to waste away.
Ooh.
Because I know, it's not amazing. You are a whole being. You are a body, you're a mind, you're a soul, and your consciousness, and your whole being together makes who you are, your energetic being, the whole thing. Now, if the soul is very little, sometimes the mind can get a little big, but that does not feel so good all the time. So the mind, then you go like, well, I don't want to think that, or you just kind of, I don't know, then occupy your mind with movies and books and whatnot, right? Sure. So it won't work. Then the consciousness, right? So if your soul is very little, your conscious thinking of your now, what's going right for you, whatever, is not really there either. You're not very connected. Well, what's left is the physical body. So the physical body just puts on the pounds or does not let go of them, And what we did is we looked into it and we found that her soul being is very little. So we shifted everything, and she started working on her soul and making it bigger, 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 with nourishing it with visualizations, imagination. That energy is just so big. Her soul is just, it's like it's wrapping around the whole world. And guess what? It didn't even take a day. Her pounds are going down.
Wow.
And it's just this balance. And see, that to me is happiness, because your whole being is always watching out for you. Right. The universe is always watching out for you. It's always, when you're really connected, you will get these little signals, and you will always know. You don't even need me anymore. You will always, I always help people to fish themselves, right? Yeah. I'm just in their lives to guide them. But the thing is you will know for you what's right for you. And she's just a happy camper now. So it's really wonderful.
I believe it. That's amazing. That's an amazing story. And the advice that I asked you for in your message, I feel like I want to set that as an alarm clock. Like, instead of a beeping noise, I want to hear you going, "You are worthy. You're deserving." Can you imagine how cool would you if that's how they started their day, with their cheerleader?
Yeah, that's funny. Shoot a video or something, and then 3 times a day the video comes. Yeah, it's
there
like
you go.
Something
Pump
like
it up.
There's many ways you can do that. Many ways. So,
yeah.
And really, it's just to go out there and smile. If you program yourself and you train yourself to always smile, your energy already lifts. You don't even have to do anything else. You just lift up your lift, because try this. If you're like that, if you're like that, or your energetic being, your frequency of being shifts. So just all day long. Absolutely. It's like the world will just lay to your feet. It's amazing. And the health you create in you, and the magnet you become for all this smiling stuff you ever wanted, right?
Right.
And just laugh a lot, and be light, playful, and just, like live as a child, right? Live as a child and experience it really vividly. That's really what I'd love for people to do.
Absolutely. Well, they say that when you physically smile, it releases hormones that tell your brain it's happy. And that's one of the only ways that I really agree with the statement, fake it till you make it. Just because I've had from personal experience, like when I was in high school, I worked a retail job, And there were days where I didn't have a good day at school or whatever. And then I'd go to work and I'm like, well, I'm going to be a terrible person to interact with if they come to the cashier and I'm just still in my bad mood. So I would just try to smile more. And then if I could compliment the person who came up to me or do something extra nice to them, it would only take like 3 or 4 customers before I wouldn't even be in a bad mood anymore, because enough of the smiling, even if it wasn't necessarily genuine the first couple times and I was making myself do it, my body's like, guess what? You're happy now and we're going to make you keep feeling happy.
Yeah, and I see, but that's a gift. It's like amazing. I mean, this whole, how everything works is just, it all is rooting for you. It's all supporting you, and it all wants you to feel good. Everything wants you to feel, even the mosquito that's about to bite you. He wants you to feel good because he's part of this amazing universe. And that's kind of like, yeah, if you shift your thought to that, and it's really all programming, that when something happens, we're just like, oh, it's like, or it's, I'm not supportive, whatnot. But to really realize that you can shift your thoughts, you can shift your energy, you can shift your whole health, you can shift your money, you can shift your success, you can shift everything. But the important part is it's like a radio, right? It's like if you want to listen to rock music, you go to that channel. Well, in a rock music channel, there is no country. In order to go to country, you got to switch the knob and go to different frequency. It's the same with where you want to be and what you experience. If you're in an angry frequency all the time, like I say, it's good to feel anger, but to realize the happiness, as long as it feels good, it's happiness. But when it doesn't feel good anymore, if you keep going on that frequency, well, you're never gonna really hear the happy stuff. It's like you gotta shift your frequency in order to feel better. And that's why I say shift. As soon as it doesn't feel good, shift to a better feeling frequency.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of sort of that kind of same idea, I'm curious. I love asking this question. So if 8-year-old Jacqueline could look into a crystal ball and see, I know you just said you celebrated a big birthday. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
That whole journey through now, the bold moves you've made, moving countries, writing books, helping countless people, I'm sure. And then, you're going to be traveling the next couple of weeks. You have a general idea of what your foreseeable future is. On a scale of 1 to 11, how excited would little Jacqueline be to be where you are now?
Oh my gosh. I think the scale will go out the rooftop and into the limitless beyond, infinite. I would go like, oh my gosh, really? I get to live this? This experience is incredible. So
love it. That's pretty much the answer I expected.
Yeah. But important is to understand it's not because everything always goes right for me. Well, no, it does, because I make it go right for me. No, but it's not because it's not because nothing ever happens to me that you will go, or I went in a first moment say, ooh, really? Right. Or hardships or illness or children not well, or, an unbalance with the husband, or work not being so good, or something. It happens to me.
You have your backpack.
I have my backpack, and that's the thing, it's like, but that backpack, it's possible to say, hey, that's my backpack. Well, that's a full backpack, but that's why this exists. So what am I going to do? I mean, I'm going to get mad at my backpack? No, I'm going to go, thank you so much. I really love for everybody that filled my backpack. You guys are amazing, because this is what I gave birth to because of that. And it's really to just connect to your soul, connect to your whole being, and realize that life is for you. It's not to you. Nothing happens to you. It's all for you. And then to find, and sometimes it's harder than others, but to find the goodness in it, right?
Sure. Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you so much for the shot in the arm of positivity and energy, and for what you're doing in the world. I can't wait to read the book. I've had the link to it, But I said, well, I think I want her on my podcast, and I don't want to know everything about the book because then I won't have questions to ask you about it. So I've been waiting for it. Now I don't have to wait anymore, which is perfect. But yeah, thank you so much for your time and sharing your wisdom and your experiences. And just this last hour or so with me has been wonderful.
Thank you for having me, and what you do is just incredible. And you, just to tell you, in the video now, the sun ray is gone, but you're like sparkling from your head.
It's my headphones.
Yeah, don't show it. Just
okay. Just let the sparkles mysterious.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You know, the frequency that is in these sparkles is just amazing. So, thank you for all you do too, and for having me, and you're amazing, and you make this experience really, really welcoming, so thank you.
Oh, thank you, my pleasure.
I hope that you are energized and that you are brought a little bit of joy by the energy that Jacqueline had and her different perspective on happiness. I hope that you have a happier weekend as a result as well. Like I mentioned in the intro, you can head over to the show notes to find out how you can get a free copy of Jacqueline's book. I would also love it if you checked out all the recommendations she had, or if you don't want to get a free copy, you can buy the book, and all of that is, as always, in the show notes. www.mandiem.com/episode 213 is where you will find that. I would love it if you shared this with someone who would find benefit or entertainment or inspiration, motivation, any positive thing out of any of these episodes. Please share them. My goal is to impact as many people as I possibly can, and I cannot do that without your help. So please share it out. I would also love it if you left a review on iTunes, because that tells iTunes other people should be listening to it, and that helps me too. So please do that. And then of course subscribe. Like every week, have a challenge coming up this Friday from Jacqueline, and that is how you will hear it. It'll automatically download, or you will get an alert to help you stay on top of things and keep up the good input of inspiring, motivational, encouraging messages, since of course there is plenty of negative inputs that we're getting inadvertently. So if we're conscious enough to put good things into our minds, I think we'll see good results. All right, thank you so much for listening. As I mentioned, stay tuned for Friday, and as always, be bold and have a sparkly day. Bye-bye.